Ross, good morning, everybody. We first of all just want to say how proud I am of our team and the performance we had last week, their preparation, and really glad that we got some experience with a noon game because it looks like we're going to have a couple of those, and so I think that'll be definitely helpful as we get into this week, and because it is a little bit of a different clock in your preparation. So proud of our team and how they performed, but getting ready for Syracuse. We're excited to be back at home here for a couple weeks and close out the month of October right here in Clemson, and our primetime phase of our journey each year. So I think that's a blessing for us to be back here, and looking forward to a great day on Saturday. Syracuse is a team that. The biggest thing is it's so easy to look at their record and just say, oh, well, they're not a good team or something like that. And we just that's not how we operate. And, for us, every game is the biggest game. That's just how we go about it, always have. But when you look at it, North Carolina, the game's 10-6 in the fourth quarter. And, North Carolina popped a couple plays. Pittsburgh, same thing. Close. Pittsburgh's a good team. Close game all the way to right there at the end. They come back and beat Georgia Tech by, 3 scores. And then, again, Duke game, very tight game. And then bam, bam, right in the fourth quarter, game kind of got away from them with some turnovers and things like that. So, listen, this is a team that we have a lot of respect for sure. Their style of play offensively creates challenges. They're a tempo team, a lot of RPOs, a lot of pop passes, a lot of screens, and everything that comes off of those type of plays. A lot of shots down the field. They're going to throw the ball down the field 10 times 40 yards or more. So competitive plays, technique, and fundamentals outside at corner in particular are critical. And then defensively, they're just they do a lot of stuff. And they've had some personnel challenges these first few games with different guys being, in and out. Again, we have a lot of respect for them. And we know firsthand here at Clemson that Syracuse is a team that can beat you. Obviously, we went up there. The last league loss we had was to Syracuse, and it was up there. And I think they were 4-8 that year, and we were one of their wins. So, this isn't about a record or anything like that. This is about playing well Saturday, period. And our focus is on Clemson. Our focus is on getting better. As I always say, good teams get better. Good teams correct mistakes. Good teams learn and grow as they go throughout the season. And we got a lot to learn. We got a lot of things to clean up. It's not about just being fast. It's about having timing with that speed. It's not just about being strong and physical. It's about having precision in what you do. And so we've got a lot of room for improvement, a lot of things that we got to do, and that's our focus is to continue to build momentum, continue to grow our team, and play well. Bottom line, we just want to play well. But we're also excited this week to be back in the Valley. This is, as most of you know, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it's something that we're passionate about, here. And this is our designated game that we will try to bring awareness to that and hopefully raise some money to make a difference for this state, this community, and for a lot of people's lives. But just a couple things about breast cancer. First of all, there's a little over 40,000, I think it's projected 42,000+ women will die this year from breast cancer. And it's the most common cancer in women. And one of our goals is to make it uncommon. And so, that's where we are right now. And it's estimated that just in 2020 alone, this year, it's estimated that right at 277,000 new cases of invasive breast cancer will be diagnosed in women in the United States. So it is a killer, and it's something that we've made a lot of progress with, a ton of progress. It's been proven that early detection can can greatly improve your odds of survival. And so it's something that's touched probably everybody out there that's watching this or listening to this. So we're just happy to be able to, help create awareness and participate. And just as of January of 2020, there are more than 3.5 million women that have a history of breast cancer in this country. And that includes women that are being treated now and women who have finished their treatment. So that's a big number. And so we're just thankful to have the opportunity to do our part. And also want to especially thank WCCP and 105.5 The Roar. I got the Roar right here. They do an unbelievable job. I mean, I can't thank WCCP enough for their Tigers for Tatas campaign that they sponsor every year, and it's just been awesome. The amount of money that's been raised, the awareness that's been created, the lives that have been impacted, through our foundation, but also WCCP and their passion and the pride that they take in this campaign. So really, really thankful for that and everyone involved there at 105.5. A few things going on right now where they're selling these bands. It says The Roar, Tigers for Tatas, The Roar, and selling those. Those are $5. They're selling these shirts, pretty cool shirts. So these are at Tiger Town Graphics, and they're $25. You can order them online, and then we got these pins every year that we do here. So we have these pins, and you can buy these at the Fanatics store or any of our local shops here in Clemson has those as well. So you can donate through GoFundMe, or you can always go to the All In Team Foundation, Dabo's allinteamfoundation.com, and donate there as well. But just appreciate everyone's support, and it's been a blessing to serve so many people in this community through this campaign. So looking forward to a great day on Saturday, and trying to win a game, but also win against this horrible disease. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Line is now open for questions.
Hey Dabo, it's Josh from the Posting Courier. We've seen the NFL maybe doesn't value running backs as much as it has in the past, and we know Travis is one of the best running backs to come around in a while. How much do you think what he's been able to do this season has helped his draft stock?
I think he's helped himself immensely because, again, they value those great backs. They value them, and he's a great back. And they value complete backs, and he's a complete player. There's really nothing he can't do, and so he's a game changer. And so it's a position where it's usually by committee, but if you look around the league and you see those great ones, they're highly valued.
Hey Coach, this is Trevor from CUTigers.com. How did Tyson do yesterday with his left hand and his ball handling? And do you expect to play DJ if the opportunity arises, or is it just wait and see with him?
Yeah, Tyson looked good. He's still a little sore just from the surgery part, but that'll get better each day. But they've got a little clam type thing that will go over it and protect it, and hopefully he'll be ready to roll here soon. But he should be fine. Once he just, like I said, gets over the soreness part, he'll have his fingers, he'll have his wrist. It's right on the top of his hand there. So it's fortunate that it was his left hand. So again, once he gets through the soreness part, should be able to get back out there and play. And DJ's a lot better, and hopefully he'll be available and ready to go Saturday.
Dabo, it's Pete at AP. Seems like every year you guys lose a bunch of people on defense, and we wonder how you're ever going to replace them. And maybe not replace them, but you guys have done a tremendous job of having guys in the pipeline ready to go, guys like Balin, Chad Smith last year. Guys like that, blending them with newcomers like Miles and Brian and things like that. Is that a testament to what Brent can do? Is that a testament to the program? How do you guys keep on churning this way?
Yeah, well, I mean, y'all have heard me say many times, football is a developmental game, and we're a developmental program. We really are. I mean, you're going to occasionally you see a guy walk in here that's, bam, right away. But most of the time, our guys come in here and they put the work in. I mean, it's not just defense. It's the same thing on offense. I mean, we lose 3 starters in the OL last year, 3 or 4 guys. And, I mean, Sean Pollard been starting since he was a freshman. Tremaine Ankrum has been starting since he was a freshman. Cervinka, man, he was a great player for us. I mean, those guys, John Simpson, what a player. I mean, those were 4 starters in the offensive line, but boom, there's Bockhorse, but he's a redshirt junior, like Balin Spector, redshirt junior. He's been playing, getting a little time, getting better, being ready for his opportunity. Cade Stewart, 5th-year senior. He's a guy that we beat Georgia Southern to get. And, man, Cade's playing as good a football as anybody we've had come through here at center. And even played some tackle the other day. Cade is a really good player. You look over at Putnam. You lose Pollard, Cervinka, and you lose John Simpson inside. Now you got a true sophomore in Putnam. But he played some last year, developed. And then same thing, Jordan McFadden. He's a redshirt sophomore. And so it's not just defense, it's not just offense. We're a developmental program. And then the same thing over there on the defensive side. I mean, Maskell was our player of the game. He's a 3rd-year player. He's a redshirt sophomore. When he got here as a freshman, he was a long way away from being a player of the game. And now, through development, through work, through opportunity to play some here and there, he's become a good player and gotten better. So it's all across the board. Skowski's a 5th-year senior. Nolan Turner, this is his first year to start at safety. Muse is with the Raiders. Kayvon's with the Eagles. But, Nolan's not a new player. So, I mean, occasionally you'll get a guy or two that, like a Brzee that shows up in here, a Miles Murphy, and you go, whoa, and they, boom, instantly are ready to make an impact. But most guys aren't. Most guys, it takes them a little while to make the transition. And so I think it just speaks to our philosophy as a program and how we play guys, how we get guys experience throughout their career, and then all of a sudden they're ready to go. And, so I think it just speaks to the overall developmental mindset of our program and how we recruit.
Trevor again from CUTires.com. You look at Syracuse, they've got Rex Culpepper playing quarterback for Tommy DeVito, who's injured. Culpepper's a veteran guy, testicular cancer survivor, so he's a tough kid. But made a couple nice deep throws on Saturday. Just what have you seen in the limited film from him?
Well, first of all, what an amazing story he is. I mean, he's I remember I met him long time ago we were in the west end zone still. So, it's a pretty cool story in his journey, and to see him, back on the field and playing and all that he's dealt with. But, as I said earlier, the one thing about Syracuse and Dino, the ball is going down the field. So if there's not at least 10 plays of 40 yards or more, as far as the ball being thrown 40 yards or more, I'll be shocked. That's just their mindset. That's how they play. And so we got a big challenge this week at corner. And Rex he's a good thrower, man. He can put the ball, he can push it down the field, he can put the ball where it needs to be. He's a big, strong kid. I think the best part of their offense are their receivers and the guys they got outside. The back's a freshman. He's a good player. But they've always had some skill outside, and so we got to do a great job with our technique, our transition, our fundamentals on the ball, just like we've been doing. We've done. It's one of the best things we've done this year. One of the biggest improvements in our team has been our secondary, and in particular how we've played the ball in competitive situations. So that'll have to be the case on Saturday because it's going downfield, and he can push it. But he's got a good command. He's got a good understanding. He's a smart kid, and and they've done a lot of things. So we'll have to figure out early, what their plan's going to be for Clemson, and then go from there.
Hi, Dabo. This is Greg Logan of New York Newsday. I'm working on a story on Trevor Lawrence, and I heard the answer you gave last week about what people could expect from him as a quarterback. But you had Deshaun Watson, who has obviously become a star in the NFL. I just wonder if you could compare and contrast their two styles as quarterback. Trevor obviously seems like a little more traditional than Deshaun.
We're popular in New York these days, so appreciate you joining us. So nice to meet you.
We've got nothing else to look forward to.
I bet you're not wearing a T-shirt up in New York today. I bet it's got to be cold up there. Hey, well, I appreciate your question, and to be honest with you, they're more similar than they are different. I mean, it's the best answer I can give you. They're similar in really every regard, with the exception of Trevor's right at 6'6", and and Deshaun is not, obviously he's not that. He's probably more in the 6'3", maybe not quite 6'3" range, and but they're more similar. I mean, they can both make every throw. Trevor might have a little bigger arm, but I mean, you're splitting hairs. I mean, Deshaun can make every throw. Trevor can make every throw. They're both creative. They're both great, leaders. They both carry themselves with a great humble spirit. They're great teammates. They both, are servant type of leaders. They're both grinders. They both love to prepare. I didn't know if I would ever coach another guy like Deshaun that just loved to prepare and was so focused on being great that he didn't get distracted by other things. And Trevor and Deshaun are the exact same. I mean, Trevor's graduating in 2.5 years, just under right at 3 years, and Deshaun did the same thing. Just very focused young people. When I met them, Deshaun committed as a 10th grader. Trevor committed during his season of his junior year, and just completely very focused on what they want to do in life, and they have fun doing it. So very, very similar. The only differences between those two guys are just Trevor's just bigger. A lot of people think that that Trevor doesn't get the credit for his athleticism. But I mean, there's nothing Deshaun can do athletically and running that Trevor can't do, and I think you saw that in the bowl game last year when he took a draw against a great football team, about 50 plus yards. So he can run. He and Deshaun can run. There's really not any differences to me other than just their size, and then Trevor's got long hair and Deshaun's got short hair, but they're great human beings, both of them.
Dabo, this is Larry Williams of the New York Daily News. I'm calling to ask about DJ in the 2023 draft.
I'm gonna be disappointed if I don't get a call from New York next week. I'm gonna be really disappointed in that. So we need.
Alberta's gonna be with us next week.
Alberta.
I think you said after the game Saturday that Trevor makes everyone around him better.
Yep.
And when we're talking about great players, just traditionally, we're sort of accepting of that notion. But I'm curious what that specifically looks like with this team in the eyes of a coach.
Yeah, well, he's obviously the most talented guy, but he's the hardest worker. I mean, he's going to be one of the last guys off the practice field. it's and that just sets the standard for. He loves to be coached. He's so focused. When he's not in, he's not over there, jacking around at the water cooler. I mean, he's locked in watching the guy who's in, and he's not missing a rep. And again, everything he does, people pay attention to. And so the best way he makes everybody else around him better is through his example, through his work ethic, how he responds to things, just how he grinds, because that sets the tone for everybody else. And that's the best thing. And then just, his ability makes everybody else better too. I mean, he's obviously has the ability to escape, to extend plays, and that creates opportunities for other players. His ability to put the ball right where it needs to be. I mean, having played receiver my whole life, I mean, you can be a really, really, really talented receiver, but if you ain't got a quarterback that can put it where it needs to be, you can get average quick. And so, he just brings out the best in everyone. And it starts with his example that he sets every single day through his actions, through his work ethic, through his humility and his coachability, his attitude, his mindset every single day that he brings. And that just is contagious and infectious to the rest of the team.
You put Travis in that same category of lifting others?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He'll make a guy look good too. You ain't got to block him long. He'll make you better. Same thing as a wideout, you're blocking a guy in space. That's hard to do. And, but with Travis, man, you don't have to be a 10 out there. But, man, I just need a 5 or 6, and he'll make up the rest. So he makes all of us better. He makes us as coaches. There's been some. I've made some bad calls along the way, and going, dadgummit, and there he goes. He made me look smart. So he's special. And same thing, his smile, his example. If you watch Travis Etienne practice, you'd be blown away. That to me, like the scouts, they don't need to waste their time watching the tape. I mean, Lord have mercy, that's a highlight reel. What they need to do is watch his practice, and you'll know everything you want to know about Travis Etienne when you watch him practice. It's unbelievable. I mean, he's drenched every day he walks off the practice field. Drenched, soaked, because of how he works. And again, that makes everybody else better. That sets the example for those other backs. Because he's not just a guy that's showing up and playing on Saturday with great effort. He's great effort on Monday. He's great effort on Tuesday. He's great effort in period 15. That's just how he handles himself, and he works incredibly hard. And he always has a smile on his face doing it. And same thing, that's contagious and infectious to the rest of the team.
Coach, this is Todd in Spartanburg. That 2017 game against Syracuse, how did that affect the rest of that season and maybe everything since?
I mean, it didn't really affect anything the rest of the season other than we just, went back to work. And I mean, for us, it's always a windshield mentality. It's what's next. We don't sit around and dwell on a win. We don't sit around and dwell on a loss, and we just go to the next one. But I think that if anything, for that team, it challenged our backups. Our starting quarterback got hurt, and we just weren't quite ready to play at the level that we needed to play at. And we weren't sharp defensively. We just weren't sharp. We just weren't ready to go, and we didn't play, or respect the opponent the way we needed to, and do the things that Clemson controls. And we always talk about don't lose to Clemson, and we didn't take care of the things that we could take care of in that game, and it caught us. They just won the game, flat out outplayed us, earned it. And so, if anything, it just maybe brought a little more focus to some details, a little more sense of urgency that we needed to have, especially with some of our backup players. And we just went back to work, and ended up going to the playoffs and got beat by a great Alabama team in the Sugar Bowl there. But it was a good team. We were a good team, but we were a good team that got beat by a team that outplayed us on that day, a team that we were better than on paper. And I think to me it's a great reminder. The game's not played on paper. It's earned through performance. And it's all about how you play that day. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. And so I think just a little pain along the way, and how you handle those things makes you better. So we grew from it, went back to work, and won the rest of them except for that last one.
Dabo, Matt Johnson from the Prairie Perspective podcast up here in Canada. Joe is the talk of the country's football scene right now. Brooks, Alberta native, scores his first career touchdown. You stated post-game the cake is still baking with a Joe, so I'm curious what specific aspect of his game are you really looking for him to turn the corner in?
Oh, Canada! We have gone international. You're my first international question person. So
I love it. Keep getting down the noise about a Joe.
Yeah, Joe. Man, I was so happy for him. First of all, the first one, and what a great play he made on that first catch, was so close. I was so disappointed when it didn't. We didn't get to keep it. So that was pretty cool to see him, take a screen and go 30-something yards, just knees and elbows flying all over the field. I mean, he was just so relentless to get to the end zone. But our local media here has heard me talk about him a lot. I mean, he's going to be an unbelievable player. What I love about a Joe is his self-awareness. All right, because he's this uber talented guy, but he knows that he has so much to learn, and he's not afraid of that. He's not embarrassed by that. He's not too cool for school. He is a very unique guy. Really not have had a guy like him. There's a lot of times I can say, well, like Frank Latson he's very similar to Martavis Bryant. Same body types, that unbelievable speed. Is just gifted athlete. A lot of times I can kind of have some glimpses of former players with some of these guys, but I've never really had a guy like a Joe. He's 220 pounds. He can run. You don't realize how fast he is because he's so gangly. He's got incredible ball skills, and he's had a couple moments in the game, but the game is really, really fast for him right now. Really fast in every aspect, because it's just so much for him to grasp. And but man, it is a blast. I mean, and I said that when first time I saw him in camp, going into his senior year, I was like, this kid, this will be one of the funnest guys that I'll have a chance to coach, because he just doesn't know what he doesn't know, but yet he's got it all in front of him. And he's one of those guys. He's a developmental guy, and a little patience with him. Just keep pouring water on him. You're going to look up here in a couple years, and everybody's going to know who a Joe is. I mean, he has that in him. But I love his spirit. I love his work ethic. He loves to be coached. And, again, he's got great self-awareness. And he's not afraid to put in the work to get better. He's made a ton of progress since he got here. But his natural ability, I mean, is pretty special. It's unique. I think he's got some kind of record up there in Canada for his high jump. I mean, his vertical is ridiculous. His length, just off the charts. So he's a work in progress. So it was great to see him have a moment like that, because that's going to do a lot for his confidence. And so he's going to be a guy that'll be a big time factor for us as we, continue to move through this season, but certainly the rest of his career.
Hey Dabo, it's Josh again. Do you have any examples of that self-awareness with him, like a time when he was like, hey, I don't know what I don't know?
Absolutely. He did, just a lot of the simple things, whether it be what the defense is trying to do, stance, technique at the position, and understanding verbiage and terminology. And, again, he grew up in Canada. I mean, he was rarely in a stance. He always had to run and start, But what I love about a Joe, and that's one of the main reasons, because he just came over his senior year and played down in Clearwater. But what I love about him is watching his tape, like because he's played a long time in Canada. And you watch any of his tape, and, I mean, there's 3 feet of snow. And, I mean, he's out there. He's tough. He loves football. I mean, you got to love football to play football in, 3 feet of snow, and that's your norm. But he's a tough kid. But just details, fundamentals, why, like what drill work and, route running, break points, just it literally taking this kid that's got all this talent and trying to just teach him almost a new language almost. And so it's going to be a lot of fun to develop him.
We'll take two, three more for Coach.
Hey, Coach, it's Trevor again. Will Spires, probably the best passing punter in the country, but he's really quietly putting together a good season. He'd actually be top 10 nationally in punt average if he qualified with enough punts. But I imagine sooner or later you're going to get in a close game where field position punting is crucial, and it's looking like he'll be a pretty good asset in that regard.
Yeah, and that's the biggest area that he's grown, and it's basically sometimes again it takes a little while, but what you're seeing is what we've seen in practice, and he's just become so consistent. He's always done a nice job of creating field position and pinning them deep, and he's had a lot of practice at that because typically we're not a backed up offense that's flipping the field. Typically we're trying to pin people and create field position, on a shorter field. But that's the thing he's improved on the most is when we've needed him to flip that field position, he's done it consistently, and that's been the biggest thing. But he can bomb the football. He's got a great leg, and I'm just really proud of him. And again, this was a kid that played quarterback in high school, and he just, he wasn't a punter. He'd just run out there and punt it. He'd never worked on punting, but we saw his potential in camp, and he's a great athlete. Really, just proud of his development. Just again, another one of those guys, Balin Spector, Cade Stewart, guys that just kind of develop and get better, and he's a guy that'll have a chance to punt at the next level, with no doubt. I mean, he's got the confidence now. He's created consistency in his fundamentals and his technique, and he can do it. So, just really, really proud of him. And I think he averaged 50.7 the other day, and just has been incredibly consistent. So it's been good to see. He and BT have been awesome for us this year.
Dabo, Mark Whiteman from WIFF. Since that Syracuse lost, now 26 straight wins against ACC opponents. What goes into a conference win streak like that?
Man, you just start over every week. I mean, we just don't look at it that way. It's a best of one every week. I mean, it's a best of one every week. I mean, there's a saying that says, "Blessed is the man who never stops starting," and I'd say the same thing. Blessed is the team who never stops starting. You start over every week. You start over every week. You start over every season. It's a season of its own. Every week, you're just trying to. It's a best of one, and then a mindset, and respect for what it takes to prepare. Respect for. Your routine and for every single opponent. And certainly takes good players and good coaches, and we certainly have all those things. But there's a lot of teams out there with good players and good coaches. So it takes a mentality, culture, mindset, and just a daily focus. Every single day. Just win the day, man. Just be great where our feet are, and then I think having some fun along the way too, and so all those things play into it and have been a factor for us. So we don't really even talk about it. It's not something we talk about. I mean, we don't. If we get beat, we'll start a new streak next week. That's just kind of our mindset. We don't. It's always that windshield mentality. What's next? We talk about competitive stamina. It's not about. We say, it's fun to win. We always say the fun's in the winning, and the fun is in the winning. But the real joy and the true thrill comes from having a chance to go win again. and that's different. And so to me, that's what drives the best of the best is a chance to go win again. And that's what we get excited about every week. We start over every week, man, as coaches, and hey, let's go again. And just loving what you do, and I think loving who you do it with, and all those things are on display each and every day in our program and each and every week when you watch these guys play.
We've got time for one more question.
Coach, this is Todd again in Spartanburg. You've talked about cross-training players in case of injury and through the COVID scare. What about for the coaches, you or the coordinators? You have to be ready for that too, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's something put a lot of thought into this summer, and we've got a plan. Like, as I said earlier, we got it in a glass case and break if needed. Hopefully, I ain't got to break it, but if we do, we do what we got to do. But we definitely have a plan. That's something that we've always taken. Just like this is a developmental program with our players, this is a developmental program for our staff. I got a lot of guys on the staff. Y'all wouldn't even know who they were. Have no idea what their what they do, because they're just kind of, ball guys that just, different walks of life. A lot of them are former players, but we got a great staff, and a lot of these guys eventually will have an opportunity to have bigger roles here or somewhere else. So yeah, we're always trying to develop our staff, just like we do our players.
All right, with that, we will conclude Coach Swinney's press conference. We will close this Zoom room